as we're accustomed to seeing 3 Japanese climbers in the final. We've seen as many as 5 last weekend.
He remembers it well, so the men did preview before the women's climb, so you might see them take a little more time than the women did because it was very fresh in the women's mind when they came out.
And it's been a few,
right into
it's
that,
been an hour and a bit since they've seen one. But
right into that arete there to try to figure out how he wants to set up for this jump. Now you could catch it 2 hands or just with 1. So it would be cool if someone did swing and continued the swing to that other pillar and just jumped to the next hold and kind of connected the whole thing. Unlikely to happen. Would involve a lot of coordination, but it would be cool taking that 2-hand method there, a little more secure.
And this is an awkward angle to solve.
You see why it could be connected possibly. That hold he's on is really interesting too. It's mostly the slippery texture. Now has to find the foot placement where there's not a lot. Can kind of keep that toe.
And then just some technical pressing.
Just technical pressing. Gonna wrap actually.
He is gonna wrap. Interesting.
Great way to kind of move his left hips or the body weight over to the left more.
Looks insecure in this position.
Almost went for a knee.
Yeah.
Gonna make it happen.
Yeah, making that happen with some core tension.
I always love his excitement.
10
10 years ago, you didn't really see consistent 18-year-old men in finals. It's been something we've seen on the women's side a lot over the years, but you know, the older men kind of held it down a bit more.
For longer.
But we're starting to see those youth athletes, or those younger athletes, move into this elite space and just start dominating so quickly, as Lei Kawamata has been doing. A little slip there, but
they often hide, but you cannot hide in bright yellow. And I will let you know at home that the blue sky has reappeared here in Salt Lake City. So the people that, okay now. Lei Kawamata does bring the left hand in. Taking 4 attempts and then moving so cleanly there. That hold is, it's bad.
Yeah, and then, you see his finger is in a screw hole there. Sliding out though. And now able to get into this box here. And now, if you can bring up that left foot, creating that opposition is ideal. What felt natural to him, even if it wasn't what we saw done a lot. And
know your body, know your style.
I talk about that skill a lot just because I think it is really interesting and something that more people should pay attention to. Because there's another example.
He slowed down with the left hand, but it didn't do that much.
But it helped.
It definitely helped a little bit, and he's now getting into the swing. And you'll see some climbers try and control the legs as well, and almost in that pike position. Ross looking like he's trying to control his entire lower body on the swing, adding more white chalk to the left side, and then generating huge amounts of physical.
Oh my gosh. And we talk about consistency a lot, and the theme is that once you get into a round, you often frequent that round more often. That was a very big mouthful.
You become familiar.
You become very familiar with it. You get in semis, you find yourself in a lot of semis, you start getting to finals, you start finding yourself in a lot of finals, and Anže is definitely looking to find himself in more podium spots and really doing a good job.
You do it.
Onto that little screw hole crimp for a second, just to kind of move over on that right volume a bit. Didn't I say it would be really cool to see if he got his foot up there? Generally seems like he's quite happy to watch and like enjoying himself, but he looks so serious in that photo.
Someone told him he had to take a passport picture for his profile picture, and he task achieved.
Like, I was in ISO in semis, and he walked in just full of smiles. I was like, good morning. He was like, good morning.
He loves to do this.
He pulled up into that so nicely with the shoulder, really securing that hold well. Almost looked like he looked back at the crowd for a second.
Like, did you all see that? I love that little heel hook. Moving, he doesn't need to be, but he's moving. Maybe a little adrenaline.
Moving
he's rushing
quickly
through the top of the boulder.
I mean, he does also seem a little cold, just straight into it. We have seen that 2 hands on that zone hold is
really ideal.
Best way to do it.
And I
Supposed
love
to clear
how
away.
yeah, I love how direct he gets to that first move. He doesn't put a lot of swing
Wow.
there. And he almost didn't need the left hand.
And again, that goes back to that tic-tac back and forth landing on the 1 foot. It really just slows the whole thing down, so you aren't having to aggressively catch it. You're just kind of floating into it. Ooh, I think he might bring the foot up.
Yes,
nice.
he will.
I love the flexibility.
Yoshiyuki with the only flash, and then Fuji, Paharts, and Chan with 2 attempts to get to the top. And then Lei Kawamata just behind Ross Fulkerson. You still need to play that mental side of it and make sure that you can get yourself in a good place. Steepest part of the wall, Megan, Boulder number 2.
Straight into that steep angle like you were saying. And this start, likely the men are gonna have to start by getting into those double toe hooks out right. It'd be interesting to see if they can do it another way. And they kind of have to throw into a crimp and then a press and then into that zone hold. And it's quite grapply until you hit that right volume right below the top hold. Gonna be really difficult, and I'm excited to see how the men fare on this boulder.
Yeah, sometimes we use the expression full body climbing when you have to push and pull with all angles.
I like that he already found that you could do it another way. I asked earlier if the root setters thought that any of the men would do it another way. Nicely. Did you see the crimp too that he was grabbing? It was so small. When they said that you were supposed to cross into it with your right hand, I was like, wait, what?
What did you mean by that? No, say that again.
And
Youngwon Chan. Megan, is this going to be another flash?
It might be.
Oh, look at that. Footwork decisions. I didn't necessarily see that happening. And a big smile.
I mean, he did look before he matched. I'm okay with that. He was in a pretty secure position. Great climbing from Youngwon Chan. That's what I was thinking. I was like, getting over to that toe hook seems really hard, but it's nice that you can just like tap. I guess you don't have to double toe hook. It's just a tap, but sets you up in a, I don't know.
So this is now his 5th. Does have a pretty good youth career, but
off to a great record
off to a pretty good start.
in the adult circuit.
Yeah.
Or I guess you should say elite circuit, because there are teenagers.
There are teenagers.
Just got to set up for this jump. Ooh, just slips a little.
Here we go. Lei Kawamata. 40 seconds, and here needs to be a little bit better.
Oh, this is smart.
The release.
Yeah.
Oh, and you see he tried
close.
to flip the right hand because it slipped the first time.
But now he knows what to do. Having that toe hook, it's got him so stretched out. So releasing it early allows him to hop into that next hold without all that resistance pulling him downward and then creating a helicopter effect with his legs.
And he'll be at least thinking, it came off on the way.
He is really good at figuring things out, finding body positions when he can keep his hands and feet on. And also really good with compression.
And he's powerful.
So, and look, right already set up nicely to hop into this hold.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So
He's always been really good at that, actually. That's something that he's really excelled at in the past.
Okay, a great look here. Remember how steep this is. Ross Fulkerson.
He kind of held the toe there a little longer. It almost looks like he could try to throw a jam in there the way he is going at it right now.
So it needs to be a little higher, a little more in the middle of this hold. There. Yes.
Oh, that was it.
He's walking back around to remind himself he's not forgetting any subtleties.
Gonna set up for this jump move. Already reading the sequence so well.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, he almost just held it. Really able to slow it down.
Super impressive.
So good at that kind of stuff. Just needs to hop into the shoulder.
Yeah. Anjay Paharts looking every bit like he's gonna flash. Boulder number 2.
And he does.
Yes, he will.
Wow.
This
method seems nicer. Honestly, anytime you have to kind of, from the mat, throw your toes into a toe hook, it's a weird amount of energy that you have to use in your abs and your lower back and even in your shins. So better to do something else.
Whoa! Oh my goodness. Approach technique and lots of different ways to showcase power. World Cup finalists, but the ability to bend your arms, Yoshiyuki is one of the best.
See what he does here. Wow. Yeah. Man, and he was on the verge of that helicopter effect with the legs too and really reeled it in. Now this move shouldn't be a problem for him. Just has to set up properly. Ooh, interesting.
Ooh, very.
But hey.
He's making it maybe a little bit harder. The left side of those two is definitely worse.
Not necessary to do it this way, but making it look good.
Is he gonna go straight up?
Oh no, he's gonna come down. Nicely done.
And then go all the way around the other way. Yoshiyuki Ogata.
Amazing.
Second try.
And fellow climbers and trying to see if you can emulate things they're good at and become better at things you have weaknesses on. So everyone's just so cerebral and breaking things down that there's no way you can't do that in ISO as well.
And adaptable.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to, but you look at the season and think, okay, I need to work on my slab this year. A yell from Kokoro Fuji to summon something to make this move stick.
I feel like he does this a lot where it looks like he hasn't figured things out, but
it's a bit weird.
Yeah, I mean, honestly.
So they often just look at the boulders, so they're not always trying to solve something new. They're just, they're looking at what they want to be fixated on.
I do think the minute you hit the mats though, your response is to just look back up and see like, okay, what do I do next? What am I doing wrong? And Kokoro obviously solving that puzzle well.
Slowed down the jump quite a bit.
It's very similar to how he did the jump on the first boulder.
And interesting to see that maybe him and Yoshiyuki talked about this method. A slightly different. Whoa!
Good save there. Almost choosing to step on that slippery part.
Glad he didn't. Kokoro Fuji. I'm just gonna say that it's a bit tight at the top of the field right now between Ogata, Paharts, and Chan.
Similar to the women's round.
I guess we could use the expression neck and neck. All tied up, knotted, but you can't really drive heavily into it.
And when you have chalk on your hands, it definitely makes it even more slippery. So that undercling start, they have to kind of work their way out left and then continue to work their way into the zone, standing on these delicate footholds. Lots of pressing, small feet, not a lot of good feet, and then the last move is where that coordination is, and I'm glad we got a close-up on that little screw-on because you are likely not to see it because it really blends in person, and you have to, the level of dual textured holds and how much of that slippery surface is present over the years has really increased.
Yeah, a lot. And it allows us to set moves with fairly large holds but low climbing surface areas. Jongwon Chan is going to get us started and executing the dynamic toe catch perfectly.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the toe catch. How did I forget about that?
Because there's so many things going on.
This is true. I do love a good toe catch.
More than an inside flag?
Oh,
I'm just going to put it out there.
You saw he found that screw hole. Again, something that athletes, you know, you don't always think screw hole, must use it, but if it's there and you find that it could be helpful to secure your forward momentum in the climb, you definitely want to take that opportunity. So now he's going to have to set up to kind of jump over. And what's weird is you have to jump over this one and just throw your right foot all the way to the other side.
All the way to the other side.
And then the finish hold is blocked. And it's just really scary.
It's really scary.
Oh,
and look at the streak of boot rubber. I don't mind it at all. Okay.
Setting up for that first toe catch again.
And
it's a nice opening move. It's tricky, but not too bad. It's a move that everybody's probably done 1,000 times, but it's just nice to always have a committing move on the slab to start right into that screw hole. And he makes it look really easy, but grabbing those things is kind of gross.
It's
like
gnarly.
It's painful.
Yeah, it's gnarly.
Now he just needs to really set up well with his momentum and elongate his body, really kind of extend when he's doing this swing so he can end up higher, a little bit better, but again, high enough to catch the undercling, because if you're under the undercling, you're not going to be able to hold it.
Yeah, low under and undercling is the worst place to be, and it's we're piling in 3 or 4 things for these finalists to do, and jump high, jump carefully, jump accurately, slot into an undercling that's guarded, and make sure your foot comes down at the right time, and then OPS be a little bit higher.
Yeah, right.
So
just, you know, do 1,000 things at once, and that's how you can be successful.
If you could just go ahead and do that, that'd be great. Thank you so much. Youngwon Chan.
I like that he tried to come into the left hand.
Like maybe it moved just at the last second.
Right into that toe hook, so smooth. Now, I have a feeling he's gonna like this jump across.
You do, hey?
I do. It's a gut feeling.
Okay.
I think he's gonna like it.
Pressing up into this sort of half drop knee. Lei Kawamata. Ooh, what is happening here? Is he gonna try and go?
That's a really good, that would be a really big span, but maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna say, keep an eye on that jib.
Not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea, but a long.
Almost. I do think on that attempt for him, he was more focused on the hands versus the feet. So that's an easy adjustment. But he moves through volumes really nicely. And I think if he can just set his body up properly, he can make it happen.
Yeah. And these moves here are a bit taxing. You're holding a lot of body tension through these moves, so you're
see?
Yes.
I'm telling you.
Zones on the first 2 boulders, so he's just got to keep digging here. Doesn't
that was
need.
A very delayed toe
Yeah,
hook.
maybe.
See?
Yeah, very secure in his footwork.
I feel like I'm just waiting to see how he sets up. Wouldn't it be incredible if he got a flash?
It would be. Oh my goodness, Ross Fulkerson
can reach.
Almost.
Just let go of that left hand a little more. Playing around with different methods, so we'll see if that happens here.
Quickly back up in here.
Let's see if he makes an adjustment here, or if he goes with the same method. Now he could bring that, you know, we earlier saw makes that adjustment, makes it happen, and a top for Ross Fulkerson.
Jumping up quickly here.
I mean, this boulder, definitely one he could do. I mean, one he could flash. Just saying.
Yeah, I think that that little hop, that's the same thing Ross did.
I think maybe if you're taller, it's more comfortable.
Perhaps, yeah. As we continue to grow and get stronger athletes who have been training for longer and more specifically, I feel that every boulder has a climber that can flash it.
Yeah.
You know, they're just.
And he does it. Go back and check out the boulder.
This is his chance to overtake Youngwon Chan and keep pace with Anjay.
Just flying through this boulder.
I mean, I promise you those moves are difficult. People fell off doing those moves many times in a row.
Yeah.
Yoshiyuki Ogata lining up the last move, just having a look at the feet, and he's.
Oh, he kind of was on the screw hole. That was so smart. And again, flash.
He got that one right. Leaving isolation very soon after the climber before them.
And I always wonder how many athletes are, I mean, you're allowed to listen to music as long as it's not connected to Wi-Fi in any way. And I was never an athlete who did that. I prefer to not listen to music, but there are a lot of athletes who do. And if that is you, there is a chance you actually don't hear the crowd at all.
Yep, that was me. I don't want to know. I just want to go down and imagine that I'm, you know, just doing my job regardless of what other people are doing. Kokoro Fuji setting up. It doesn't look
we could see
super
flash,
comfortable.
Oh.
Shorted it.
Plenty of time with a boulder like this. You can get back up to that upper part quickly. So similar to the women's boulder today, actually. Don't have to waste a lot of time to get ready for the end. See if he can size it up a bit better here. We saw Yoshiyuki use the screw hole here to kind of pull himself over with the right hand to kind of open his hips and create a better swing. Didn't look like it worked as well for Kokoro, so see if he kind of changes it.
He has got that.
He had the thumb.
Oh, yes.
Nicely done.
We stay tight on the leaderboard. Yoshiyuki Ogata and Anjay Pahard separated only by count back at this point. Kokoro Fuji just behind on attempts. Yeah, you can get hammered in a World Cup final. So Ross, great job to compose himself and put down that top there.
Another steep angle looking at men's number 4. Starting in kind of a wedge position, and then you kind of have to explode out. You could go with the left hand. It's likely easier with the right hand, and then kind of stopping with your left hand on the volume, then into this blocked zone hold that you are likely going to cross left hand to and come out.
So still things to play for Jongwon Chan.
See if he goes with the left or right hand, kind of setting up to go left. Oh, wow. Going to the volume first.
Yep.
Very interesting. Completely bypassing the more committing coordination move. That was really smart. I wonder if anyone else will see it that way.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a chance that they talked about it, but there's also a chance that he just intuitively did it.
And there's a chance that as the only Korean in the final that he talked to no one else about it. And here he is storming up this boulder, giving himself a fighting chance.
Amazing flash for Jongwon Chan.
Going to the Olympics, so he's reminding them that he's still here. Lei Kawamata.
Wow.
Yes, doing the move as you had mentioned.
Yep, nicely
coordination,
done.
palm press.
So good at coordination. Now setting up for this toe hook in the release to the palm. Shouldn't be a problem after watching him palm that other hold.
So much tension in the left shoulder.
I can't wait to see the photos of those movements.
Yeah, those two moves are going to be cover material.
Let's see if he figures it out this time. There we go. Nice, easy.
Love it. You can hear we're right beside a nest of photographers. You can almost hear the shutters clicking.
Just trying to get a snapshot. Now that they've seen these moves, they're trying to get the best part. Oh, wow. Oh, is he gonna, a little bit to the right, a little to the right.
Blind
able to make it happen.
And Anjay can get himself a gold medal with a top here.
Which would be a first for him,
so
only had a bronze.
Yeah, on the screen there is sort of the best worst case scenario. What was that?
I wonder if he read this with Jongwon.
Yeah, maybe. So
nicely into those crimps, just has to absorb here when he gets to the palm.
Oh!
Almost loses it.
Yeah, not quite as far over as we saw.
Through. It just has to reach for the finish, and a flash for Anjay. He is
Top of the wall celebration. Yes, let me hear it.
The crowd for more. Finishing second. You can't really do much better.
No, it's true. These are what podium finishes.
Oh, wow, with the heel at the same time.
Different coordination, still coordination though.
You know, it honestly looks less risky, but it is still very risky because throwing in that heel, he's shorter, so he had to throw that heel, and that's a dual text hold, so.
And oh,
nicely absorbing.
A great look at the angle there. Yoshiyuki Ogata for gold! Gold medal here in Salt Lake City.
So excited.
And I think he might even know it. The zone might
You're in charge of math. I can't say much about that.
Okay, you talk about climbing, I'll do math. But we know for sure that up top will get him the bronze medal.
See, being a bit taller, he was able to catch that heel lower, so you're not forced into that other hold that has the dual text. It's a little more secure. Not really much worry here, just the absorbing of this next hold. And you know, when you're a little taller, it's actually a bit harder. And we saw Anjay kind of struggle with it a little, but Kokoro brought his hand up more to the right and kind of cupped it just easily into that top hold.
Celebrate, match, and celebrate. Kokoro Fuji earning himself a bronze medal. Take it in, you see Anjay there, I think, saying, let's throw the flowers. There you see it, so close. Yoshiyuki All the difference being in that count back, slightly better score in the semifinal round. Trophies up. Ladies and gentlemen,